Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is well. Today I thought we would have a little chat about... I always look here, which is the screen, and the camera's over here. Today I thought we'd have a chat about the interconnectedness between you and everyone else, and why it is important that we do what we came here to do. Because a lot of the time in the past, people, they don't know what they're here for. And they're searching for their mission. And in the past, if you go back 10 years, they're waiting for someone, whether it's a higher being, whether it's an angel, or whether it's somebody, a therapist, to give them their mission in detail. You will do this, and you will do, like duties, right? Duties, like a job. And that is not the approach that we should have. And that is an approach designed to fail. And that is an approach that would benefit the CABAL. Because if they know your mission, they can interfere with your mission. Right? So sometimes if you were a subject of these MILAB, these military abductions, and they would ask you and they would probe you, what's your mission? Now, if you knew your mission, then they would reprogram you, right? No, you're not supposed to do that. So when you woke up, after a few visits, you're no longer on mission. Because they found your mission and they corrupted it. They changed it. They canceled it. They ruined it. They sent you off. Be a celebrity. Oh, I want to be a celebrity. I want to be on television. I want to be on television. And now you've forgotten. You're not supposed to be on television. You're supposed to raise a family. Now, okay, it's hard to know who's been tampered with. There's no way for me to know that. But I do know, I would say, everyone to some degree has been tampered with, and some people have been literally, psychologically attacked. I have been psychologically attacked for many years, not one time, not 1 week, for years. And it's caused a lot of havoc. It comes at a cost. It costs. Like I said, we had the video before, there's a cost. If you're willing to pay the cost, then you will make it through. If you're not willing to pay the cost, there are heavy consequences. Because there are interferences, there are opposing forces, there are villains, there are operatives who don't want you to succeed in your mission. That is a fact, and there's a cost. If you walk the path of truth, if you walk the path of building a business, if you walk the path of raising a family, there are costs. Most people would call it opportunity cost. If I'm going to have 2 children, then I'm going to I can't have the career I had before. So if before I was making $100,000 a year, now I can only make $50,000. There's an opportunity cost. And I have to live in a smaller house, and I have to drive an older car, right? If you're raising a family. If you're telling the truth and talking about ancient sites and magic and star beings, there's a cost. There's a cost to your credibility. There's a cost to your reputation. There's a cost to employment, income. There's a cost to a mental cost. Will you fall over because you'll get attacked, and will you eventually go a little bit crazy? There's a cost. There's no path, there's no mission you can take where there's no cost. And when you're young, I think when I was young, there's no cost. And then you say, well, I'm willing to work hard because I have the energy, I have the time, I can do it. But everyone has their limit, right? Everyone has their limit. This is not, when they say, this is not worth it. And that gets down to your mission. What's your mission? Well, if you don't know your mission and you're having a struggle, you're trying to get information out, and no one's listening and they're calling you crazy, or you're not making any money, and you thought there'd be some money, and you thought people would listen. If they were listening, I would feel better. Then you start to think, is it worth it? And if you're getting attacked, the attacks might say, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Give up. Give up. These psychological attacks. You can't prove they're attacks, but you're going to have this negativity. And then you start to think, is it worth it? And then you start to search for your mission. What's my mission? And it's not clear. See, if your mission's not clear, it's like, is it worth it? People back off. People stop talking. It's not worth talking about extraterrestrials, right? Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about New Age stuff. I want to talk about things that people can understand. You back off, right? You back off. But the issue is, the crux of the argument, if your mission is to talk about extraterrestrials or spirituality, and it's too hard, and you're not sure of your mission, and you do something else, now you are failing your mission. You will not complete the mission. And if you go on a different path, you're going to be on that path for X number of years. And when it comes to missions, years are important, because you know, when you're young, you have a lot of energy, you have time, you can make mistakes, you can afford mistakes when you're young, right? As long as you don't fail too big, you can make mistakes. You have the time, and you have the energy. As you get older, you lose that. So one of the strategies in the past was, if you interrupt the subject during their prime, where they have all the energy and time, and you send them off the path, even just a little bit, then when they get older, let's say now they're 40, and they're trying to get on the path, and they realize, I'm here for something else. They've just spent 20 years or 15 years doing the wrong thing. So all that energy is gone. Now when you're 40, you don't have the same energy as when you're 25. So that's what, you know, there's many ways to ruin the missions. And that's one of the ways. Send them off during the prime, when you need all that energy. And then when they get older, let's say you're 40 and you're coming out of a divorce and you have financial problems and you're bipolar and you're talking about aliens. And you don't have the same energy and you got a lot of stress and you might have kids, right? So you're not going to have the same impact. Your mission is basically has been subjugated, has been ruined. And you may not realize that until you're 45. It's like, gee, I should have done this. I should have done this when I was... And you start to think, where did I go off the path? And how was I sent off the path? How was I lured off the path? Was there a dream? You know, those things take a lot of therapy. And in some cases, you know, people are, you know, they're psychologically mixed up or they're on medication. And if you've been on medication for 20 years and you've been mixed up for 20 years, it's not going to be resolved in a weekend. So, you know, the missions are gone. So, what was I saying? If you know your mission point by point, then the CABAL, the operatives, whether it's a network of psychics, magicians, military, MILAB, PSYOPs, whoever it is, they know your mission. If you know everything you need to do, they will have access to it. They can read people at a distance. They can read you. And they do. They often read you. So the idea is, when you come here, the missions are protected so that only a little bit is released at a time. So you get enough to go to the next level, and you have to dedicate and discipline and work hard. And if you do a good job, then more information is released, right? And that's normally how it works. You get more information. You get a sign. Something you get a sign. There's a synchronicity. Again, be aware that some of those things can be intercepted, right? If, let's say, you're looking for a certain sign and the CABAL reads that, they might send a false sign, a false person to intercept, a false alien, a false message. It can be anything, if they know. So you have to be aware of that. Now, when you're going, you might see signs, synchronicities, things happen, doors are opening, and then you go to the next level, and then you're there for a little bit, and then you go to the next level. Now, when you look down, right? When you look down, you realize you've been on this path. And it reconfirms, it reaffirms, well, gee, I've been talking about spirituality and ancient aliens for X number of years. I guess that's my mission. Can't deny it, right? I've been doing it for 10 years. That's probably part of the mission. Or we go to the other side. I'm raising a family. I've got 2 nice kids. That's part of that's why I came here. I came to raise a couple of nice kids. I got proof. They're eating my food. Right? So the mission is released slowly. And again, mission doesn't mean you have to be a truth teller. It can be it could be a career, you could be discovering new sciences, technology, you can run a company, you can raise a family. I don't want to limit it. I know some people do, and they say mission, your mission. Mission can be innocuous, it can be banal, but it's important. Mission is why you came here. Maybe it's not a mission, maybe mission is the wrong term. Maybe we should use mission for the people who have a more serious, more strategic. There are some more strategic missions, more complex, for the more advanced. If you have an advanced mission, you're more advanced. If you have a basic mission, you're more basic. So you get little by little, and that way, they can't be interfered with. It can't be intercepted, because as long as you're following along. But if you give up, if you say, this is not worth it, I don't have any money, and people call me crazy, I don't know what I'm doing, then that's how they get rid of you, right? So you have to kind of go to the intuition, to the gut. I know what I'm doing is right. Find your pace. Find your pace, and just keep doing it. Don't have expectation. The expectation, I got my whole life to do this. I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep writing. 20 years, 30 years, I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep swimming, right? As soon as you stop swimming. So Why is all this important? Now so we went through this. Why is your reason for being here, your mission, important? Because maybe it's not important for you. And this might be more difficult to understand. Maybe what you're doing will not directly benefit you. In fact, it might not benefit you at all. Why am I doing something if it doesn't benefit me? Oftentimes it'll benefit somebody else, or other people, or groups. So for me, let's just use me as an example. Maybe I'm not the best example. If we can find some more light. Let's use me as an example. I make a video and I talk about different things. And as I've said, you pick and choose what you resonate with. Pick and choose what makes sense to you and take that and use it. Now let's say there's somebody who's a teacher, who's a spiritual teacher. And they're kind of like, I don't understand something. I want to talk about this, but I don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. And they say, well, let's listen to this guy, Paris. He looks like a whatever, but I got to be open. I want to just hear anything. And they watch my video. And for a couple of minutes, I provide some key information that directly benefits them. And maybe nobody else, but just them. Maybe it doesn't even benefit me. Now they take that information and they fulfill their mission by helping other people. But you can see the cascading effects, the ripple. If 10 people are not doing their mission, then the others who are waiting for the information are not getting it. And those people are going to give it to hundreds, thousands of other people who now are deficient because you are not doing what you're supposed to do because you don't know it doesn't benefit you. Now, if you look at some of my videos, I talk about stuff that is out of my expertise, is out of my interest. Some things I talk about are completely out of my interest. I talked about Apollo 11. I did a video, Apollo 11 versus Einstein. It's completely out of my specialty. It's completely out of my, well, it's not completely, but it's out of my focus. But there was something interesting there that I thought I could add value to the discussion. And I connected time dilation. That Einstein said, I have to think now, Einstein said that gravity, the strength of gravity affects the flow of time. I'm not a scientist. Science is not my strength. And astrophysics is not my strength. The two things that are not my strength. But I made a video because I think it might offer something to others. Right? Not because I try to be smart. But I just looked at it, the general relativity, the theory of general relativity. Einstein said that the strength of gravity affects the flow of time. That the stronger the gravity, the stronger the gravitational pull, the slower time flows. And the weaker the gravitational pull, the faster time flows faster. So I said Apollo 11 went to the moon And they went for what, three days or 4 days. They circled around, they landed, they were there for about a day, and then they took off and flew back. But the ratio of time was the same on Earth. They left at 0 hour, and they were gone, I don't remember the exact amount of hours, let's say they were gone 75 hours. And they came back 75 hours. But the problem is the gravity of the moon is 1/6 that of Earth, right? 1/6 is weaker. And the orbit of the moon is much faster. I suggested that the flow of time on the moon is faster. And that means for every hour on the moon is multiple of hours on Earth. And I think my calculation was they should have come back in mid-July and two weeks later, because every hour you're on the moon, time is faster in relation to the Earth time. And I did my calculation, I think it was 7 hours or something. 7 hours per hour. You have to watch the video, I don't remember. But they came back 1-to-1 ratio, which doesn't make sense because the gravity is weaker on the moon and the orbit, right? The moon circles every 30 days, and we circle the sun every 365 days. It's completely different, should be a completely different time differential. And I remember they should have come back mid-July. I think July 10 or 11. Or anyway, they came back too fast, as if they didn't go to the moon. Now, I don't know if it benefited anybody. I don't know that, but it might have caused a discussion in the Apollo 11 conspiracy theories. People might be mulling it over. Scientists might be mulling it over. And maybe not today, maybe 10 years from now, we'll have some answers. It may not even be immediate. So you may do something that's no benefit to you and may not even have an immediate result. Maybe the result will be after you're gone. But those people need it. Somebody might need it. Some 14-year-old kid might go on YouTube and watch my video, Apollo 11 versus Einstein. And he might see something, or she might see something that no one has seen before. And because I'm the only person who really took this angle, I may have provided that opportunity, right? That's one point. The other point is, at the time I made that video, I had the energy, the time, the perception. I had the synchronicity. And maybe at the time people were talking about Apollo 11, and I was tapping into that intelligence, that energy field, the knowledge base. And the planets were aligned. And so I had all the components to make the video at that time. And had I not made it, all those elements maybe would not be present. They're not present now. I wouldn't have that same level of awareness, of perception, or even energy to do it, because there's other things to do and life goes on. So you see what I mean? There's no direct benefit to me. There's no immediate benefit to the community. But at the time, I felt that the energy was available, the knowledge was available, and I should step into it, grab whatever I can, and record it. And sometimes that is part of your mission, right? Is to see these things and help out. So, you know, you're not always doing something for you. In fact, you're not doing anything for you. You're helping others. And sometimes people have an understanding of something, but they have some questions. So they'll watch my video or read my book, and I offer a different approach. And and maybe they'll say, well, I completely disagree with Paris. And now they're more secure in their approach, right? Because now I've offered that comparison. Oh, that's his approach. I respect that approach, but this is my approach. Now there's differentiation, right? We're talking to different people. So your mission is more important than you know, right? You don't know the effects. And that's why I take it very seriously what I say. I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. You're not supposed to worship me. You're not supposed to, I'm not a guru. But I offer the knowledge, and then you use it today, and maybe tomorrow. Maybe your children will be watching this video, and maybe they will understand it because you didn't, right? That would be interesting, right? If there's a video that nobody watched, or very few people watched, and then 20 years later, all the kids are watching it, and it all makes sense. The guy's a genius. You don't know. You don't know. So you take it seriously. You do what you're supposed to do because it's benefiting others. And then finally, let's end on this, because my mouth is very dry. A lot of the time, people want something to motivate them to do something, to go on their mission. Motivation, a sign. Show me a sign. And I think that comes from a lot of the past. But my approach is, my view of the universe works in conjunction with your own commitment. That if you're committed, the universe acknowledges that and then gives you a sign. So that you have to commit, and then it shows you a sign. Then it helps you. If you're committed, then you get something. Not the way people are thinking is like, I'm waiting for somebody to give me something, and then I'll commit. No. It might line things up for you, but you have to commit, and there's a cost. I'm not willing to pay the cost. Show me a sign. No. When you commit, there's a cost. When you commit to marriage, there's a cost. But then also things open up. Doors open up. But you have to commit, right? You have to get married before you see the signs. You can't say, well, I want to see what this marriage looks like in 10 years. Show me what it looks like, and I'll think about it. No. You gotta commit. And so a lot of people are afraid to commit because they don't know the future. Well, of course you don't know the future. There's no guarantee of the future. So what, are we not going to do anything? I'm not going to do anything because I don't know the future? And then the future doesn't take shape until you commit. Once you commit, the future starts to take shape. And then you see the signs. And then you get help. And then you may go through a very dry period. Right? And then you say, show me a sign. And the universe says, show me commitment. Right? The universe acknowledges commitment because that's your decision. You're sitting on the fence. A lot of people sitting on the fence, it's the wrong place to be, right? That's another way to ruin a mission. Sit on the fence. Think about it. Is it a good idea? Should I talk about aliens? Should I talk about spirituality? Should I start a company? Should I not start a company? Should I get into that relationship? Should I not get into a relationship? Make a decision. We will often I've made so many wrong decisions I could write a book called How to Make the Wrong Decision. So there's no, you can't judge your decision by if it's going to be right or wrong all the time. You need to make a decision. You weigh, you weigh the information and you make the best decision you can. But you need the commitment. As you go along, you need more commitment. If you want more signs, you want more help, you need more commitment. The universe is saying, you're saying, show me a sign and I will do it. Right? Show me that person loves me and I will spend the rest of my life with them. The universe is saying, you show me commitment and I'll show you a sign. So it's opposite. I think we should be aware of that. That's my experience. That's my experience, okay? That's my view, my opinion. That's my view is the universe responds to commitment. That can be a decision. That can be an action. It doesn't have to be drastic. You don't have to be drastic. It's a simple decision. I'm going to, right? Let's say you want to start a company. Then you start doing research on a company. That's a commitment. That's basic, right? And then once you invest money, that's another commitment, right? And if you're doing the right things start to happen. Again, it doesn't necessarily benefit you, right? It doesn't necessarily, especially if you're doing talking about stuff, teaching. You're benefiting others, and those others will benefit others. And they need information. They need something. Some person may watch my video, and after 10 minutes, they see something they recognize, and then that's it. They got it. And they may come back. They come back several times. You know, I may come back several times to get the other pieces. And then they'll go on, and then they'll go on with their lives for a year, and they'll come back, and they'll say, well, I didn't even hear him say that. So it's important to do your mission. It's important to follow. It's important to be committed and to incrementally. You don't have to be crazy. I mean, you don't have to jump in and make a big dramatic splash. It's not a movie. You know, you slowly work your way in, develop your whatever it is you're doing. Make changes. When things are not working, you pull back. You know, you do the same thing. And that commitment, the universe responds to that commitment. And what you're doing is helping others. So that when somebody else comes here and they need some information, and I've made my video or written my book, and they get that information, or the movie. Let's say you make a movie, and that movie changed my life. That book, because they found something, and that helped them. Now, if you don't make that movie, if you don't write that book, if you don't make that video, those people, they don't get that information, and then they're now off the path. And by the time they figure it out, their prime is gone, right? Their energy is gone. So they won't have the same impact. That's why it's important what you're doing. Treat it as important, right? It's important. Whether it's large scale or small scale, it's important. If you're going to do it right.